you have two selves. There's the one you show the world, the achiever, the doer. This is the self that builds your resume, earns promotions, and learns new skills. It's the self that gets all the applause. But you have another self, an inner self. This is the part of you that imagines, dreams, and connects ideas in the quiet moments. The problem? We're living in an epidemic of starving that inner self while we constantly feed the outer one. We collect accomplishments like trophies, but there's this growing sense of emptiness, right? A creative void. What if I told you that the secret to becoming a true polymath, to unlocking limitless creativity, isn't about doing more, but about feeding the part of you you've been ignoring? When you hear the word polymath, you probably think of historical titans like Leonardo da Vinci, a painter, scientist, inventor, you name it. We see them as geniuses with an almost superhuman ability to learn. But that view is missing half the picture. It focuses entirely on their external achievements, the paintings, the theories, the inventions. It focuses on what I call the outer polymath. This is the visible you, the part obsessed with productivity and tangible results. But every outer polymath has a hidden engine, the inner polymath. This is your internal world, your mindset, your curiosity, and your imagination. It's not about what you know, but how you think. For too long, we've bought into the idea that success just comes from relentless doing. We try to build a skyscraper of achievements without pouring a deep, solid foundation. And what's the result? Burnout, a lack of originality, and a feeling of being disconnected from our work and even from ourselves. This video is about laying that foundation. It's about the idea that to unlock your full potential as a creator and thinker, you have to turn inward first. You have to consciously nurture your inner world with three essential nutrients: awe, logic, and compassion. So let's properly define the outer polymath. This is the self that society sees and rewards. It's built on tangible skills and visible accomplishments. When you learn to code, practice an instrument, or get a certification, you're feeding your outer polymath. This self thrives on deliberate practice and strategically applying knowledge to real-world projects. It's the part of you that masters a new language, a complex piece of software, or builds a business. The modern world is basically a buffet for this outer self. We've got endless online courses, productivity apps, and career plans. The internet puts a world of knowledge just a click away, making it easier than ever to build a diverse skill set. This is the whole hustle culture ideal, the belief that your value is your output. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. The ability to learn and apply knowledge is absolutely critical. The problem comes when this is the only thing we focus on. When you only feed the outer polymath, you become a highly efficient machine. You can execute tasks, solve known problems, and follow a set path perfectly. But what you can't do is create a new path. You can't come up with those game-changing ideas that connect seemingly unrelated fields. That's because real innovation doesn't come from a spreadsheet. It comes from a deeper, more integrated way of thinking. You become a monopath, an expert with a one-track mind and no other interests. That kind of mental tunnel vision is the enemy of true creativity. The outer polymath can build the house, but the inner polymath designs the blueprints. And without the blueprints, you're just stacking bricks. This brings us to the inner polymath, the source of your creative fire. This self doesn't care about what you've done, it cares about what you could imagine. It's where your curiosity, your openness to experience, and your ability to see the world not just as it is, but as it could be, all live. This is your authentic self, the one that holds your core values and beliefs. And nurturing this self isn't some fuzzy philosophical exercise. It's the most practical thing you can do for your creativity. The inner polymath thrives on a growth mindset, the belief that your intelligence and abilities can be developed. It sees failure not as a final judgment, but as data, a stepping stone to understanding. Psychologists have found that this, along with being highly open to new experiences, is a key trait of multi-talented people. They are obsessively curious, always asking questions not because they have to, but because they genuinely want to know. Most importantly, the inner polymath is a master of associative thinking, connecting the dots between different fields. It gets that music can inform math, that philosophy can guide technology, and that art can reveal scientific truths. It loves the interconnectedness of everything, refusing to be boxed in by artificial lines between disciplines. This is where true innovation happens, not in a single field, but in the spaces between them. A nurtured inner self lets you see the world from a wider perspective, ask naive questions that shake the foundations of a subject, and make progress simply by having a different point of view. So, how do we actually cultivate this powerful inner self? It's not about waiting for a lightning bolt of inspiration. It's about consistently feeding your mind the right stuff. It really comes down to three fundamental pillars: awe, logic, and compassion. Pillar 1, awe. Awe is that feeling of wonder you get when you encounter something so vast it challenges your whole understanding of the world. It could be looking up at a starry night, getting lost in a piece of music, or finally grasping a complex scientific theory. Experiencing awe has a powerful psychological effect. It quiets the ego. It makes our own anxieties and self-criticism feel smaller, opening us up to new information and perspectives. Studies have shown a direct link between experiencing awe and a boost in creativity. On days when people feel more awe, they also report being more creative. Why? Because awe disrupts our normal rigid thinking and pushes our minds onto new pathways. It sparks curiosity, which researchers have found is the bridge connecting daily awe to daily creativity. So, go find some awe. Take a walk in nature. Visit a museum. Watch a documentary about the cosmos. Don't just look at it. Let yourself be humbled by it. This practice expands your mental horizons and creates fertile ground for new ideas. Pillar 2, logic. Imagination without structure is just daydreaming. Logic and reason are the framework that helps turn creative ideas into reality. While awe blows your mind open to possibilities, logic helps you sort through them and build something real. This is the part of being a polymath that involves focused learning, analyzing information, and building arguments. It's about creating explanatory structures and telling stories that can actually be tested in the real world. Many of history's greatest creative leaps were a mix of wild imagination and strict logic. Einstein famously said imagination was more important than knowledge, but he used the structured language of mathematics to give his imagination form. Feeding your inner world with logic means committing to lifelong learning. It means not just consuming information, but really engaging with it, questioning assumptions, seeking deeper understanding, and building strong foundations in the fields that interest you. This kind of structured thinking doesn't kill creativity, it gives it a rudder. It turns a fleeting spark of insight into a concrete innovation. Pillar 3, compassion. The last pillar, and maybe the most overlooked, is compassion. At its heart, creativity is about solving problems for and connecting with other people. Compassion, starting with self-compassion, is the emotional engine for that. Studies suggest that awe can even lead to more self-compassion by making us feel more connected to the world. This sense of connection and empathy is critical for innovation. When you cultivate compassion, you get better at understanding the needs, struggles, and hopes of others. This insight allows you to create things, solutions, art, ideas that are truly meaningful. It's about seeing the human element in everything. A compassionate engineer doesn't just build a bridge, they build a bridge that serves the community. A compassionate doctor doesn't just treat a disease, they treat a person. Compassion also has to be turned inward. It's about giving yourself the grace to fail, to be imperfect, and to follow your interests without that harsh inner critic. This psychological safety is essential for taking the kinds of creative risks that lead to breakthroughs. It turns your inner critic into an inner coach, so you can explore and grow without fear. If this idea of a thriving inner world clicks with you, I want you to try something this week. Don't go out and try to learn some massive new skill. Instead, just commit to one small act of feeding your inner polymath. Spend 15 minutes just looking at the stars. No phone. Read the first chapter of a book on a topic you know absolutely nothing about. Or practice a little self-compassion. The next time you make a mistake, instead of beating yourself up, just take a deep breath and see it as a chance to learn. The goal isn't some huge achievement. It's just to start the habit of turning inward. Let me know in the comments what you chose to do. We've been sold a lie about what it means to be brilliant. We've been told it's all about the hustle, the grind, the visible achievements of the Outer Polymath. But the most successful and fulfilled thinkers in history knew a deeper truth. They knew that a rich inner world is the foundation for a brilliant outer world. The two selves aren't fighting each other, they're partners. Your outer self is the ship, able to sail the seas of knowledge and skill. But your inner self, fed by awe, grounded in logic, and guided by compassion, is the compass, the map, and the wind in your sails. It's what gives your journey direction and meaning. Stop just building. Start designing. Stop just doing. Start imagining. Nurture your inner polymath, and you won't just become more creative, you'll become more whole. You'll unlock the ability to not just solve today's problems, but to imagine the world of tomorrow. Thank you for watching. You've just joined The Renaissance Spirit, a channel dedicated to a just, equitable, and humanitarian world. Here, we explore history, politics, culture, religion, personal growth, and the lessons of civilization, from ancient Rome to modern America. We believe the Renaissance isn't over. It's waiting inside anyone who chooses curiosity, courage, and conscience. Living the Renaissance spirit means engaging with history as a dialogue, not just with the past, but with the future. Our work is a message to posterity. Will they inherit justice and wisdom, or wonder why we failed to act? Subscribe, turn on notifications, and take our Renaissance quiz to see if you carry the spark. Because if history is collapsing in real time, someone has to narrate the fall and plant the seeds of what comes after. Live the Renaissance spirit. History has not died, only our understanding of it.